Aunties Talk Sports.
I'm KB. The courts of Indiana raised me, Detroit pays me, and I know ball both on and off the court, so don't underestimate me.
And I'm Jen. Financial statements, I know how to read them. Fantasy sports, I know how to play them. Tough calls, I know how to make them.
Whether you're heading home, headed to happy hour, or just getting ready for another weekend of sports,
we've got you covered with the biggest stories, the hottest takes, plenty of laughs, and just enough friendly debate.
From Detroit to the national stage, if it's worth talking about, we talking about it.
So grab your favorite drink,
pull up a chair,
because this is your sports happy hour.
2 aunties,
2 mics,
all game.
Hey KB, how you doing? Wait, your background looks different. How are you doing? Your background looks different. Where are you?
Girl, I am in the middle of Pennsylvania in Dutch world, Dutch land. So as many people hear me talk, of course, by night I am, a half of Aunties Talk Sports, but during the day I'm a sports mom. So for the past week, we have been on a summer adventure, taking our oldest to a couple of throwing camps. And probably unbeknownst to anybody else, unless you are a parent who has a thrower, there is a gym here in Pennsylvania called Garage Strength, and they operate one of the best training programs for throwers probably in the country, called Throws University. So she is at a camp here over the next 4 days, and then we'll be participating in something called Throws Fest, which is a throwing meet on Friday, and they'll have elite throwers, a few Olympians will be there, but then she'll be competing in the high school division. So the things that we do for the teenagers that we love. we took a plane to Providence. We took a 4-hour train from Providence to Philly, and then we drove almost 2 hours outside of Philly. So we're right now in between Philadelphia and Happy Valley.
All right, planes, trains, and automobiles. Go, Karis. Go. I never heard any of that, but I'm glad to be living vicariously through y'all. So yeah, I love it. So let's do a different kind of show today. Let's do our top 5. Let's just run down our top 5. I know you're traveling, that hotel Wi-Fi. I'll start with today's announcement. Well, this week's announcement that the Cleveland WNBA expansion team, which is set to play in next year, 2027. They had a big announcement today, and I watched that, and they have revealed that their team name will be the Cleveland Sirens. They made a big play off of the Lake Erie reference. They took surveys, they surveyed fans, they did interviews, and they wanted to riff off of the Lake Erie. And as many people know, the Cleveland used to have a WNBA team years ago, and it was called the Cleveland Rockers. And a lot of fans wanted them to go back to the Rockers name, but they wanted something new. They wanted something, and they, KB, to this point, and you always mention that you want the WNBA teams to be very distinct and not like the NBA teams, and they referenced that. They said, they didn't want to borrow anything from, the Cavaliers. They want it to be very distinct, and they're aiming toward that. So I really like that. And their colors are mostly blue, and so they're saying Siren Blue, and it was a good announcement. I was happy because I know that right after that, in 2029, Detroit is on the clock, and our expansion team is coming back, and I cannot wait. So that was my number 5. Now,
yeah, so I think I agree with you a little bit, Jen, but then I also disagree. I like the Sirens. I think my beef is two things. One, I saw part of the announcement online on social media that people were saying the best owner in the NBA was announcing his WNBA team. And so I just kind of took
What?
exception with that. I do not think
Oh,
that there is widespread belief that Dan Gilbert is one of the best owners in the league. I think if
no.
he would have been or is considered one of the best owners, then LeBron would have been ending his career in Cleveland. We know that they have had beef, but I digress. I like the Sirens, but I do think the kind of visual storyline left a little bit, from my perspective, a little bit to be desired. The siren looks like Storm to me.
Mhm.
It's just it could have just it could have given a little bit more, but I like the blue. I like the connection with Lake Erie. But there is an influencer online who's a graphic designer. They need to holler at her because I feel like this could have been executed at a higher level. We'll tag her, but good name, poor execution.
No, we're not going to worry about them. We're going to save those for the Detroit expansion team. So, yeah, let them have that stuff. We don't
Yes.
care. We don't care that much. We're going to save it for Detroit. So my number 4 is we haven't been talking that much about football, but I couldn't pass up the storylines the past couple of weeks where Bijan Robinson, the running back for the Atlanta Falcons, and Jahmyr Gibbs, the running back for my Detroit Lions, they kind of been like, looking at each other to see who was going to sign an extension first. Because whoever signs first sets the stage, sets the threshold for the running back position as far as pay. Well, Bijan Robinson signed his contract, I believe it was today or yesterday, and it was for 3 years, $75 million. Makes him the highest paid running back ever, excluding rookie contracts. And it's about, what's he, I think it's like 51 million guaranteed. And so now the Lions have to pay Jahmyr Gibbs, and rightfully so. And he will get more. He should command more than Bijan Robinson, based on the Lions' record versus the Falcons' record last few years. So, and his statistics, right? So, can't wait to see that. Can't wait to see him get paid. They knew they had to pay him when David Montgomery didn't left. He left for Houston. So it's time, Lions. You got to pay Jahmyr. So
Well,
I'm ready for that.
yes, I agree with you on that. I'm all for players getting what they're worth. I also think that this is a good look for running backs in general. As we know, right, the contract value for running backs compared to other positions on a football team have always kind of fared kind of below average. So I think it's great for running backs to get what they're paid for. We see Jahmyr, week after week, kind of take those hits, put his body on the line, make those sacrifices. And we also know now more about the long term effects of the physicality of football. And so get that money, but also make sure that you get that guaranteed money. So I'm all
Right.
for it. I think here in Detroit, sometimes we've had the bad rap of not really investing in our teams. And so I also think that it's just good for the Lions to show that they are really willing to do what it takes to retain the talent and to keep their stars so that we don't see them leave or we don't see them, retire early, as has happened with a few other prominent Lions players. So I agree with you on this. Pay that man his money.
All right, so we'll be looking out for that. So number three is kind of, I'm just going to say WNBA. There were a few storylines that caught my eye. Most recently last night with the Barbie Night in Atlanta, where you had the Atlanta Dream, the Las Vegas Aces at the Atlanta Dream, and the whole audience was supposed to wear pink, but of course, people don't pay attention, so they weren't. But they had lots of these Angel Reese Barbie dolls, and I broke the picket line to go get one, and I love Angel Reese, so I'm going to support everything that she does. But the Aces blew them out. It wasn't even close. It was very sad because Angel showed up. She's been so consistent the last several games. I think last night she had like 23 points, 16 rebounds or something like that. She's been double, consistently. Like she is the motor of that team. You know, Ryan Howard shows up every other game. Sometimes Alicia Gray shows up. Sometimes, the coach is not using the bench correctly. Like if they're not shooting well, they want to jack up threes all night. And if they're not hitting, he doesn't take them out. He just leaves them in just to keep shooting. Bree Jones is back. She's got to get her conditioning back up. And it was real bad. So I'll say that. And then you had Minnesota playing Indiana. And it was the first time they played this season. And you had Olivia Miles against Kelsey Mitchell. And they tried to make it Olivia Miles and Caitlin Clark. No. Kelsey Mitchell was balling. I want to say she had like 37 points, but the Lynx won. And, even at halftime, Holly Rowe tried to play it. Oh, Olivia, she interviewed Olivia Miles and said, oh, Olivia, you and Caitlin, she said, well, I'm worried about Kelsey Mitchell, who has 20-something points at the half. So it was the Kelsey Mitchell, Olivia Miles show. I believe Olivia Miles is running away with Rookie of the Year, but a close second is my girl, Sydney Taylor with Chicago. She's on my fantasy team, so I've been following her. She's gotten a couple of injury tweaks, so I want to see if she could stay healthy the rest of the season. We've got about 13, 14 more games left to the race for all the Rookie of the Year, the MVP, and all that's coming up. So it'll be great. These storylines over the next few weeks will be so great as we head into the playoffs. What are you thinking about the WNBA right now?
Them tickets is expensive. That's what I'm thinking. I'm trying to buy 3 tickets. The family will be in Indiana. Family will be in Indiana in a couple of weeks, going to see the Wings play the Fever. And I'm telling you, those tickets is $300-400. But Olivia Miles, I think, obviously is Rookie of the Year. I think she also, as Nafisa Collier said, is making a case for MVP. Maybe it's the first time in WNBA history that we have a rookie take both awards. That would be interesting.
Candace Parker.
Oh, Candace Parker. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that I was really happy to see was just the support that Angel Reese had for her Barbie Night. You saw the whole team show up in pink to support her as part of that promotion. And I think for me, not only did it show that she has, great marketability, but more importantly, it shows that she has the support of her locker room, right? People have tried to create this narrative, right, that she's a cancer, that she's stuck up, that she's spoiled, but people aren't going to show up and support your deal, right, if you're a horrible person. I think the only other thing that caught my eye is Kelsey Plum, going to Phoenix. And again, another free agent out of LA that they just couldn't keep. And so I think we really need to understand what's going on with the Sparks organization and why they're not able to keep their experienced free agents on that team. But the W is looking great, thanks to a lot of the new talent like Angel, like Olivia. It's only up from here.
Number 2, we'll do an extension of the WNBA talk, and we'll talk about the awards, the MVP. I mentioned the Rookie of the Year race, but the MVP race has gotten a lot of talk over the past couple of weeks, and a lot of people were upset that Caitlin Clark was not included in the talk of who's in the running for MVP. So we still have some time left in the season, and things will change. Right now, they say Asia Wilson is leading the pack, rightfully so. Although Minnesota has the best record in the league, so and with the Aces a close second, so that's why Olivia Miles is getting talk of MVP because she's been the MVP of her team. But Asia Wilson, she's the MVP of her team every year. Last night she was doing Asia Wilson things, and you just can't stop her. So she probably will, unless things drastically change, she'll be the MVP again this year. For
Yeah, I mean, this is the issue, right, with the conversation around MVP. People have it twisted. The MVP is not about popularity. It's not about likes. It's not about who's going viral. It's about performance. And as you said, Olivia Miles has performed. People were definitely counting out, right, the links this year because Nafisa, people didn't know when she was going to come back from injury. The fact that she stepped up, not only on the field, but also with her leadership, puts her in the race. As you mentioned, Kelsey Mitchell really is the best player on the Fever. Is she the most popular player? She isn't. Let me also say, and I think people don't really know this about her, this woman is getting her PhD. So she's
yeah,
playing on the court. She's getting her PhD. She's doing homework as part of her pregame ritual, after the games, probably even halftime. The fact that we're not talking about not only her performance but her ability to handle coursework. And I saw a clip where she was just saying that she wasn't even telling her professors that she was a WNBA player. But finally, people started to encourage her to tell them, hey, I may need an extension on this assignment. And she said one of her professors was like, oh, so you're the Kelsey Mitchell that's playing for the Fever? I mean, come on now. A part of me would want to just give it to her just because she's juggling so much. But my vote, as much as I love Asia, would go right now to Olivia Miles.
yeah. I definitely would put Kelsey Mitchell, and she is in the talk, and she is the MVP of her team. Most consistent, most she's the leader. So she is in the conversations. So there's no excluding her. I pick her way before Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, and people who are mad about Caitlyn not being in the race are mad.
Yeah, this isn't the All-Star game. This is the WNBA MVP. It's not the All-Star game. All-Star game is popularity. She got that. That's fine. We're not talking about that. All them turnovers that she gets. My top, we don't often talk about Detroit, often talk about baseball at all. But there's no denying that. And so my number one is that the Tigers trading Tarik Skubal. And to hear the amount of fans who were so upset saying that LA is ruining baseball because all they do, they're not, they don't rebuild, they reload. They have, starting pitcher, they have pitchers in their bullpen that come out and can win a game, an ace in their bullpen, right? So they go and get the best pitcher in baseball. I think you could argue that Tarik Skubal or Shohei Ohtani could be the best, but I'm putting my money on Skubal just because he was here. But people didn't like that. Here's the thing in baseball: there's no salary cap, so you can pay however much you want. A lot of people didn't take on his contract because he's on the last year. He did an arbitration deal with the Tigers 1 year, $32 million. So they don't know that some of these teams didn't know that he would guarantee to be signed back with them. So they didn't want to take a chance on just, the rest of this year. Dumb. Just pay him. Like, if you want to compete, like as Tarik Skubal said, anybody could have paid to get me. But the Dodgers stepped up and got me. They have won the last 2 World Series. They have a great chance of winning 3 in a row. And a lot of people were so mad, saying that they're ruining baseball. Now nobody says that when the Yankees used to just reload and, are still, they still do that. But it's just amazing that these teams are just cheap. The owners are being cheap. They're not strategic. The Dodgers just have a good system in place to build championship teams, and they have everybody talking. They have some injuries. They have some aging players, but they have Mookie Betts. He's aging, but hey, they won last year, and I put my money on them this year to win too. So the Tigers, I think they're rebuilding. They traded another of their pitchers, Casey Mize, and so I guess they're in rebuilding mode. But they got some prospects out of the deal, but that just remains to be seen. But that was my number one because I love Tarik Skubal. He's been great for us. I love watching him pitch with his tight white pants. But but I was sad to see him go. But I'm happy he went to the Dodgers, and I hope he gets a championship. He deserves it.
So I'm the auntie that doesn't really know too much about baseball. I think I said that before. I like baseball if it's on Friday nights and the weather is like 76 degrees and they have I'm there with my friends, there's some drinks involved, and we get to see the fireworks later. But I just I don't know what happened. I remember last year when we had our first episode, our first season, the Tigers were doing so good. People were talking about them potentially winning it all. And so this year we weren't able to keep that momentum. But I did see the fact that people were upset about, him going to the Dodgers. But hey, I mean, if you can pay them, there isn't a salary cap. One thing you can say about the Dodgers is that they will go after the talent. And as a little girl, my grandfather loved the Dodgers. And so I grew up watching them even in Indiana. But how can you be mad? If you want him, pay him. If not, let him go and get his money. But I need somebody like you, Jen, who's a little bit more well versed to tell me what happened between last year and this year.
Long story short, we were doing great in the first half of the season, and in the second half of the season, we just lost it, and it carried over to this season. I just it's like the Tigers, the Pistons, the Red Wings. It's like, man, come on, Pistons not so much. I want to see what they do this year, but our sports teams are hurting. I don't know what the Lions are going to do either, but man, I'm having to be a Philly fan right now because, I'm having to be a Philly fan, so come on, Philly.
Right.
I'm being a bandwagon fan, and I hate bandwagon fans.
Yeah. I'm not jumping on that bandwagon, but when we ended up, getting into Philly, I told the girls, I was like, oh my God, Philly, right? This is where LeBron is landing. But I do think, as a non native Detroiter, I do think that so much of Detroit's mystique, so much of the story, so much of the conversation is about grit, is about the revitalization of the city, it's about coming back. I do think that when teams embrace that underdog mentality, sometimes, and we've seen it over the past couple of years, I think Detroit teams have a hard time being front runners. I think that when the teams are good here in Detroit and then people have the expectation that they win, I think that's where we start to falter. When we're the underdog and when we, lean into that grit and when we lean in to nobody expecting us to be there, I think our teams rise to the occasion. And I think that we have to kind of remake a little bit of what we're known for as a city, just from a mental standpoint, so that we can continue to progress and to win and get better, even when we're front runners. That's what I think
I
happens.
I think when our Detroit teams are, winning, and everybody's hyped, a lot of people are waiting for the other shoe to drop. and because they're like, well, they weren't supposed to be there anyway. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like what I was saying about the Michigan team. I was happy that they won the basketball championship, because normally I have to say, man, at least they had a great season, and I didn't have to say that this year. They won the game. They won the game when it mattered. Yeah. That's what I want to say. I want to do that with the Lions. Like, oh, at least we had a great season. No, I want to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
Pistons, yes. I want to win another championship. I don't want to just say we had a great season.
Yeah. And expect to win it. You know what I'm saying?
And expect to win it.
Not to be happy, just to be happy to be there. It's like, no, expect to win it. And this is, I think, the thing for me. And I have a really great friend, actually, Courtney, who sent in another one of her comments. She said that she feels like Detroit is a question, which was like, where does Detroit stand as far as all-time best sports city? So she was in Atlanta for the World Cup, and she was like, just people weren't showing up. She was like, we were down here for some of the, activations that just didn't really seem like people were participating. And she's like, one thing about Detroit, it doesn't matter if we winning, if we losing, if it's an activation, Detroiters are going to show up. And she was like, it just made her realize that Detroit is one of the best sports cities for how Detroiters and our fans show up and support our teams, win or lose. So shout out to a listener and a watcher, Courtney, for shooting us that comment.
Yeah, shout out. Yes, Detroit is a sports city. Every sport. If they brought the World Cup here, you should have come here. You would have thought that we were FIFA certified. Because we would have been out, yeah. So that's a note next time. Come to Detroit. So. But yes, thank you, Courtney. I want to shout out all of our fans. We have reached over 500 followers, almost 600 followers on Facebook alone. And I love the comments. I love the debates we've had on there. I love people are finding out about Aunties Talk Sports, and we want you to engage with us and follow us on social media. We'll be doing some watch parties and stuff. So come on out, but comment, like, subscribe, and, reach out to us and let us know what you want us to talk about. And until then, it's Aunties Talk Sports, 2 aunties, 2 mics, all game. Peace. Thanks again for spending some time with us. This has been another episode of Aunties Talk Sports. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share the show with your fellow sports fans. It really helps us grow our community. Have a question, a hot take, or a topic you'd like us to cover? We would love to hear from you. Email us at auntiestalksports@gmail.com or connect with us on social media at Aunties Talk Sports. Aunties Talk Sports is a podcast hosted by Jennifer Bright and KB Gaston. Find us on socials at jbright713 and at KB Gaston. Aunties Talk Sports is recorded in Detroit and produced by Danerco at Danerco on socials. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, 2 aunties, 2 mics, all game.